Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Cuz You Don't Know Football. Yes, I am your host, Tariq. Welcome back. It's great to see y'all again on this spooky Halloween edition. Now, normally I would do all this. I said not today. And also, I thought about bringing somebody on, but I thought about this for a second. And y'all, we ain't had no alone time in a long time. We need to just talk and catch up and get right. So today, what we gonna do? It's gonna be smooth. It's gonna be smooth. Today, what we're gonna do? We're gonna do the mid-season awards. So we're about at the midpoint of the season. Week 9 is next week, which is the exact midpoint. But we're gonna catch this up now. So we got the mid-season awards, and y'all ready for this? Y'all been waiting for this forever. We got part 3 of the way too early playoff editions. That's right. I told y'all I was going to take one more chance, one more week, figure out who's going to the playoffs, who's not, and I'm gonna tell you exactly what's up. So this is it, and it's still way too early because you probably should pick your playoff team 75% of the way. But I told you we do this early, okay? We do this before everybody else, so we got this. All right. So let's start with the midseason awards. Okay. So we're going to do this a little different, but just roll with me. Just roll with me on this. So let's just start with teams and team vision. So which team has been the most disappointing? Now, there are some teams that you could look at for this. I'm not going to lie to you. To me, the most disappointing team. Sorry for the long pauses, y'all. I'm really thinking about this as we're going along. So, to me, the most disappointing team halfway through the season, of course, halfway through the season, to me, is the Denver Broncos. I might have been one of the few that were pretty high on, not high, but I thought they were more of a playoff team. I looked at the Broncos from last year and said, it's hard for me to imagine them repeating that again. And they look worse this year than they did last year. And last year was a failure. So for me, more than anybody else, the honorable mention there, honestly, is the Chargers, the Los Angeles Chargers. But yeah, me the Denver Broncos, I personally expected a lot more from them. All right. So then, inversely, which team has been the biggest, or should I say, the? Look, I can't talk now, y'all. Let me get some water real quick. Let me get some water real quick. Okay. Which team has been the biggest surprise? Or which is the biggest surprise team? If I'm going to be honest, halfway through the season, the most surprising team probably is the New York Jets. When I looked at them, I thought, especially after Aaron Rodgers got hurt, I looked at them and I said, there's no hope for them. And it looks like it's hope. Actually, y'all didn't even know, but I bet some of my neighbors who are Jets fans that they're not going to the playoffs. And they think they are. That's none of my business. But the fact that they're in this position after losing Aaron Rodgers, man, I'm going to tell you what, that is the most surprising thing that I think has happened. I'm not going to do that. Okay, so then let's go straight into offensive player of the year thus far, halfway through. Now, they have Christian McCaffrey, and I do think Christian McCaffrey is a very good selection. But to me, ironically, I do think it's Tyreek Hill. Listen, that man's on pace to break the all-time single-season receiving yards record. Despite what I think about his ceiling, he's shown that his floor is very high, and no matter what, on a week to week basis, he's doing this kind of consistently. So for me, Tyreek Hill is the offensive player of the year for the mid-season. So defensive player of the year, they actually had TJ Watt, but for me, it's Myles Garrett, and I don't even think it's close. I really don't know why they picked that. There's been nobody more. I don't think there's been anybody, one player, individual. There's not been one player that has been more dominant than Myles Garrett has been through this season. He's starting to do like basketball moves on people and just like crossing people over and then going to get a sack. I'm like, who is this guy? Who does he think he is? But that's here nor there. So the next category would be offensive rookie of the year. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the first time I'm going to say maybe I was wrong about something. CJ Stroud has been the best rookie this year. In the offseason, I said he was going to be a bust. He was definitely a bust candidate for me. What bust means, I think it depends on it. Like for me, I've always thought Daniel Jones was a bust. And he got paid, and it just shows it even more. I never thought he did anything that was that special, what CJ Stroud is doing with the Houston Texans is admirable. I'm still not sold that in terms of paying him top of the league money, but in terms of what he's doing right now, I actually do appreciate what it is, and it looks good, and he looks good doing it, and we'll see what the rest of the season looks like for him. So moving on to the defensive rookie of the year. To me, this is also pretty easy. Devin Witherspoon, man, he's looked amazing this year. Like, and even coming out of Clemson, I thought he was going to be good. He's exceeded my expectations. It's like with cornerback all the time. It's not all the time the numbers, because sometimes they decide not to go your way. And I'm looking at him. He's making a difference. And passing yards are going down, and he's a very big reason why for that. Okay. All right. So the offensive player of the year, I said defensive player. Oh, so the MVP for the midseason award, MVP for me, is Patrick Mahomes. Like, anybody who's saying anything different, you're just bored. You're just bored with conceptualizing that his greatness is week to week. Patrick Mahomes has been the MVP this year. What do you want me to say? I'm curious to see what the rest of the year looks like for them. But as for what's going on right now, he's been amazing. The MVP is Patrick Mahomes. And finally the coach of the year. The coach of the year, it has to go to Dan Campbell and the job that he's doing with the Detroit Lions. I will admit some of this has to do with last year as well, but coming into the season, they're 6-2. They're number 2 in the NFC. They were my preseason Super Bowl contender. They were my preseason NFC title game participant, one of the two. Detroit has a new culture. The Detroit Lions have a new culture, and Dan Campbell is the reason why. And if they go to I'm going to ask this question even now. If the Detroit Lions go to the NFC Championship game, is Dan Campbell the greatest head coach in Detroit Lions history already? If he didn't even do anything else, I don't know. We'll sit on that for a little bit. We'll sit on that. Woo! That was good. That was good, y'all. All right. All right. Let's go. Let's go. Okay. So that was the mid-season awards. I'm very happy about that. It's been great. This season has been great. It's been great to watch this season. And as it's starting to slowly unravel. It seems like the season has been flying by. We're halfway through the season. I feel like if we like my mind and spirit isn't 50% through a season. Excuse me. But we here, So um so now we're moving on to the third part. Part Tra. I know Dwa is 3. The third part of the way too early playoff predictions. I'm telling you this is the time. This is the time. Out of every time I've ever said it, this is the time you need to listen to who's going to be in the playoffs, because we first did it. We did it with last year's information, and we translated it this year. Now we got the information from this year. I'm about to tell you what's up. So we're going to jump right into that. Right into that, okay? So we're gonna start with playoff or division winners, and then we'll tell you the wild cards. Okay. The AFC East division winner is going to be the Denver Broncos. Excuse me. Guys, it's been a long day. I'm sorry. As you can see, I'm putting stuff together. The AFC East division winner is going to be the Miami Dolphins. The AFC North division winner is going to be the Baltimore Ravens. The AFC South division winner is going to be the Jacksonville Jaguars. They're going to run away with that at this point. And the AFC West division winner is going to be the Kansas City Chiefs. I know, I'm bored with them too. Some just dropped. I didn't expect that. Kind of caught me off guard. Oh well. So the wild card teams. The wild card is going to be Buffalo. The Buffalo Bills are definitely going to be a wild card team. The Cincinnati Bengals are definitely going to be a wild card team. You heard it. I told y'all last week they were back. They are back. Okay. and I'm very curious to see them. So, now in the playoff formula, there's 3 teams. So now I get a third team. And it was a mix between, for me, there's a couple teams that are kind of in that mix. You got the Chargers, you got the Browns, you got the Steelers, and this is actually probably the hardest pick out of all of these. I think I'm going to have to go with the Cleveland Browns as the number 7 seed in the playoffs. I mean, their defense is playing great. Let's see if Deshaun Watson can get it together. But I don't think they've played great, and they're in this mix. And I think with more continuity, they actually have the ability to gel and run off some games. Plus, their schedule isn't too bad. I looked at the Chargers schedule, even though I didn't think they were making the playoffs even from the beginning. Their schedule is too many potential losses for a team that I don't know who they are. So just running through it again. On the AFC side, the AFC East, the Miami Dolphins are going to win the division. The AFC North, the Baltimore Ravens are going to win the division. The AFC South, the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to win the division. AFC West, the Kansas City Chiefs are going to win the division. And the playoff teams or the wild card teams are going to be the Buffalo Bills. They're going to be one wild card team. The Cincinnati Bengals are going to be another wild card team. And the Cleveland Browns are going to be the number 7 seed. So I'm going to advance it, and I'm going to go back to the AFC Championship game and who's going to be in it. Kansas City's going back to the AFC Championship game. This is just boring. Now, in terms of everything, I'm about to flip the script on y'all. I'm going to go to Baltimore Ravens in the AFC Championship game. I'm going to go now. The AFC Championship game is going to be the Baltimore Ravens and the Kansas City Chiefs. That's crazy. That's crazy because Baltimore looks great too. And I think Lamar, man, he's an MVP candidate too, and that's here nor there. So we're gonna go over to the NFC. So let's start in the NFC East. I do believe the Philadelphia Eagles are going to repeat as champions of the NFC East. And remember, this time, this will be the first time that NFC East champion repeated since the Philadelphia Eagles did it way back in the day. It's been about like 12 years since there's been a repeat, but I think this is the year that happens, and the Eagles are going to repeat in the NFC East. The NFC North, the Detroit Lions, nothing crazy there. The NFC South, I'm still going with the Saints. I think they're going to turn it around. I think they're going to catch fire. I think they're going to gel and get it together. And I still think they win the NFC South, and they're tied for first place now, and they've played awful. So that's here nor there. And in the NFC West, I still got the 49ers winning that division. I know they just dropped 3 straight, but I still have them winning that division. That's a very talented team. A lot of just talent, just like stars all around. And they just made a trade with Washington for Chase Young. So now they're bringing in Chase Young too. So this defense is going to be crazy. Chase Young is going to have the opportunity to come in and be the number 2 pass rusher. They still got Nick Bosa. And I'm looking at them, I'm like, psh. So I still think they're going to win it. They just have to figure out this whole Brock Purdy thing. So the wild cards, I have Dallas in as one of the wild cards. I still have the Seahawks in as the other wild card. And I can't believe I'm about to make this pick. I cannot believe I'm about to make this pick. I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to go to the playoffs as well. I think the NFC South are going to have 2 playoff teams, and they look terrible. And who else do you pick? Who do you trust? When you look in the NFC, who else are you going to trust? The Vikings, Kirk Cousins just tore his Achilles. The Packers, no. The Bears, no. I mean, the Panthers only won 1 game. Do you trust the Falcons to stay on, where they are? We'll see. I don't even know what they're doing. The Falcons have a situation where like they're making their number 2 tight end throw the ball to the number 3 tight end while the number 1 tight end is blocking. And the number 1 tight end is, if he has a weakness, it's definitely his blocking. I don't know. I just don't think they know what they got with Kyle Pitts, and I don't know. It's just not gelling for me. And the Rams, it's possible, but it would be that's a hard sell, That's a hard sell. So going back into it, in the NFC East, I have the Eagles winning that division. The NFC North, I have the Lions winning that division. The NFC South, I have the Saints winning that division. In the NFC West, I have the 49ers winning that division. I have the first wild card being the Seahawks. I have the Bucks being another wild card, and of course, I have Dallas being the other wild card as well. So that's definitely the regular season. Now, in terms of NFC Championship game, this might change. So, like, I still got the Detroit Lions going to the NFC Championship game. I know it sounds. Listen, every time I say that, it sounds crazy, but it's not crazy. I had the Detroit Lions firmly in the NFC Championship game. Now, in terms of Philly and San Fran, that really comes down more to. So they both have a glaring weakness, and I think we have to see how they manage it. So San Fran, of course, is Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy, like I think they put a little bit more on his plate, and I think they're going to go back to taking that off of his plate, and that's what I see. And with the Eagles, I have a problem looking at them only this year with the fact that they have a new offensive coordinator and a new defensive coordinator for this year. So for me, I think that's a hard sell for that as well. I think I'm still going to stick with. The I trust that the floor is higher with Brock Purdy. So the NFC Championship game, I have Detroit and San Fran still. In the Super Bowl, I still have San Fran, and I think if the 49ers get it together by that point, they'll be better than who they play in the NFC Championship game, and they'll get back to the Super Bowl. And I know it's boring, but I still have the Kansas City Chiefs winning the Super Bowl. All that suspense just to say the thing that everybody kind of already knows. Like, so like when like Nick Wright says all this stuff, I'm like, he's right, man. He's right. He's right. The Kansas City Chiefs are just they're just better, you know? And I think they're gonna show that. Okay. All right. So we got a little bit of time. So this is what I'm gonna do. Even though I did that, we're gonna run through the games for next week real quick, and I'm gonna give you games to look at and the picks for that. So this upcoming week, week 9, we have the Miami Dolphins visiting the Kansas City Chiefs, and I have Kansas City coming back, bouncing back off after a loss, beating at home, getting some at home cooking, getting some of that Kansas City barbecue, and beating the Miami Dolphins at home. I then have the Seahawks are in Baltimore to play the Ravens. One thing, and this is real. Lamar Jackson against teams that don't play him all the time looks tremendous. And the Seahawks are an NFC team coming into Baltimore. I think Baltimore takes this game as well. I think that's what happens here. We got Cowboys and Eagles in Philly. So a little anticlimactic because I don't think either one of these teams sweep the other one. So no matter what happens here, I don't think there's going to be a lot of outrage, or let me say that again. There's going to be a lot of outrage. I think the cause for concern is going to be lower than what it's going to show. I think for this one, actually, I kind of think Dallas is going to go into Philly and win that game. I just have that feeling that that's the kind of teams that they are, So yeah, I got Dallas winning that game. And finally, I got Buffalo. Yo, we got some games this week. I got Buffalo beating we got Buffalo going into Cincinnati, which I think actually is going to be a great game. But I think Cincinnati has Buffalo's number, and I think they've had it for the last 2 years. So I'm going Cincinnati there too. I'm telling y'all, Cincinnati is back. Cincinnati is back. That's gonna be a crazy game. Oh man, yo guys, y'all just got me real excited over here. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm like ready for this. So, guys, that's basically all we had to do. I told you this episode was going to be smooth, didn't I? I told you this episode was going to be smooth. Okay? So, once again, guys, you want to check us out. Full episodes on Spotify and YouTube. Then check out our reels. Check out our reels on TikTok, on Instagram, and on Facebook. And, guys, like always, I love y'all. I want you to know I love y'all. Unfortunately, I gotta inform you. Cause you don't know football. I'm your boy Reek. And like Martin said, I'm gonna see you when I see you.